Yeah.
Hey, I have a lovely crew of people that is there every night, you know what I mean? And I am so grateful for them and appreciative of what they do. Because I think it's hard to do the same thing, 8 shows a week. And I think for the actors too, part of the challenge for them is finding ways to keep it fresh and ways to make it magical, because the audience is not there every night.
Right.
It's
their first time.
Yeah, so you have to keep that relationship straight. And it takes a special talent to be the kind of person who can do the same thing 8 shows a week backstage.
Yeah.
They always wear black, nobody ever sees them, they're invisible, they're always carrying laundry baskets full of heavy things, and I'm always giving them notes. Like, hey, did you know that hadn't worked out? Because they're like right on top of, when they're doing a quick change in the dark, A, it's dark, and B, the person comes running to you, you do the quick change, on they go, you take their old costume away in a laundry basket, you don't actually get to see the costume. And then, but that's my job, is to sit in the house and go, oh, by the way, did you notice that so-and-so's missing a button? Because a lot of times when you're working the clothes backstage, the show goes by so fast, and you're always in the dark. So you can't actually tell what the clothes are doing and not doing if you're in the dark. So, yeah. My job specifically, ends at the curtain line in many ways. But except for fittings. Fittings are like a massive part of my job. That's what we've been doing this week, actually. It's just fittings. So,
Do you love it?
I do. I actually, I couldn't ever believe that I've been on the same show for 20-something years. But the great thing about fandom is it does keep surprising you. Yeah. Just when you think, oh yeah, I've seen every problem, I've seen every mistake, I've seen everything that could possibly happen. It's like the cosmos goes, oh yeah, watch this. It's like, I just worked on Phantom Moscow, and at one point during tech, there was some yelling and screaming backstage, like, a piece of scenery was moving and everybody was yelling, stop, stop, stop. And a stage manager came in and gave me to us, like with an interpreter, of course, like, can you come backstage? Can you get backstage? And I'm like, what? And they said, like, Irina is stuck under the opera box in her costume. Her costume's underneath the scenery. I'm like, her costume is underneath the scenery. Like, how? It's because they put up a piece of masking and she wasn't used to it being there, and she was running off stage, and she couldn't see where she was going, and she felt the curtain and she stopped. And the opera box was rolling on, and it got on top of her train, and she kept kind of crawl away from it, and she was literally like, it was up to about here. She was all crammed in one side of the costume. We had to sort of unzip her and kind of lift her out. I mean, it was just like, I'm like, oh my God. Like a week from opening, we have like a ruined costume, because she couldn't see where she was going. And I thought, really? Seriously, people? It's like, it's like one of those things you think, no?
Yeah, how could this ever happen? And
how did it ever
is.
happen?
And,
yeah. She let go of Raoul's, dragged her off, and she let go of his hand and stopped. And if she just let herself be dragged past the curtain, it would have been fine. But, yeah. Little surprises like that. But it's challenges. I mean, those sketches, right? Also, Maria's sketches. I don't know if you guys noticed this. She draws people that are, especially the ladies, they have big hands and feet. But if you look at the proportion of where this woman, how tall this woman is, the waist is basically here, which means the legs are really long. You can't get 8 ruffles that are this tall on a waist ground of a normal human being. You just can't. So we're always trying to sort of like, all right, I have to make it look like this, but I only have a person who's, this high, So it's, but you also have probably never seen a woman whose waist is exactly the width of her head. Right? How many women do you know whose waist is the width of her face, right? So you have to sort of try to get the proportion of this right. And some of your actors are itty-bitty, and some of them are like, that's a itty-bitty, because we hire them for the voice. That about the opera, right? We have a lot of opera singers in the show. In the old-fashioned days, they tended never to be small people. Now it's sort of all over the place, but that's kind of part of the challenge, is making this one sketch look exactly the same on 6 different body types, over and over and over. Yeah. And also finding the fabrics. You can never find the same fabrics twice.